So welcome everyone. This is Strategies for Small Business. This is through the Small Business Development Center. Wanted to just run through. So this is a program of Cal Poly Humboldt, SBDC. It's powered through the SBA, the Small Business Administration. And it's also funded in part through the grant with the Governor's Office of the Business and Economic Development. Right, let me just, I do have to give this disclaimer. So let me just read this over you really quick. All right, so the information provided in this workshop and any supplementary materials provided to registrants and attendees are intended for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute professional, financial, or legal advice. No registrants or attendees should act or fail to act on the basis of any material contained in this workshop without obtaining proper financial, legal, or other professional advice specific to their situation. The Northern California Small Business Development Center and its host, the Cal Poly Humboldt Sponsored Programs Foundation, and the Siskiyou Economic Development Council specifically disclaims any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any information presented in this workshop. All right, so again, my name is Laura Velasquez. I am a business advisor for the SBDC. I'm also a business professor. So I teach a lot of business courses, entrepreneurship, principles of management, human resources management. I do digital marketing. I taught this class. So this is usually the 15-week class, strategies for small business. And the areas that I focus on are e-commerce, creative strategy, visual marketing, and entrepreneurship. I am originally from Texas. I do have a background also in the oil and gas industry. But most of my experience also is through my e-commerce brand. It's called Soccer Chick. It's a combination of soccer and fashion. So a lot of the experience that I'll get to share today comes through that and everything that I've been able to accomplish through that. So welcome everyone. All right, so this is the agenda for today. Again, these are some topics that I usually touch on in the 15-week course. So we'll lightly touch base on each of these. Yeah, I'll try to hit the points and just get you the best information possible on each of these topics. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about small businesses. We'll talk about the entrepreneur ventures versus small, what makes that different, the importance of identifying your niche, your product, and if it's considered a niche market. The importance of doing your homework well. I don't know if a lot of you are planners, but planning, organizing, and management are also very important for small business owners. Developing a marketing strategy is critical. And so we'll touch base on that. Sales promotions, selecting your tribe, which is more of the human resource and part of it. And then we'll wrap up. All right, so by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to begin unlocking your strategic mindset, generate creative strategic ideas, and develop a growth strategy plan for your business or product or service. So that's, again, my heart, that you would take just that strategic mindset, and then you'll begin just unlocking that creativity that you already have and those desires for and passions for your business, just unlocking those creative strategies. All right, so what is small business? According to Congress, the Small Business Act of 1953 states that a small business is one that is independently owned and operated and is not dominant in its field of operation. So in essence, these are folks, and we'll talk a little bit further, but like think about mom and pop shops and businesses as the SBA, according to the SBA, yes, which classifies as the size of a business for loan purposes. You have very small businesses, which are 20 employees and under. Then you have the small businesses, which are considered between 20 employees to 99. Then the medium-sized businesses between 100 and 499, and then anything over 500 is considered a large business. So yeah, so many mom and pop shops are considered small businesses. I just kind of put in here a couple of businesses that went from being small to actually expanding, and these are a lot of renowned brands that some of you may know about. So you have Spanx, which is now 1.3 billion. I have a slide on Spanx a little bit further ahead, but it's very cool how they just started small. You have Nike with 30.6 billion. The Body Shop at 24.7 billion. The Body Shop, I don't know if you are familiar with it, where it's more of a cosmetic company, and it was sold to L'Oreal. You have Ben & Jerry's with 450 million. You have Yankee Candle at 8.3. Yankee Candle was actually pretty interesting because in my research, I found that the owner, Michael Kidrick, made his first scented candle out of melted crayons, and that was his Christmas gift to his mom. So it's pretty cool information there. Then you have Whole Foods Market, and that's at 14.2 billion. And there's interesting thing about this group also is that many of them had a strategic plan for growth, and then they were able to sell their businesses to a lot of these businesses are no longer owned by the folks who started them, right? They had, and we'll talk about this a little bit further too, when you get to a place in your business that you realize, okay, we want to head here, we want to go here, but you don't have the experience, then what a lot of companies do is they start consulting, or they get bought out by other bigger companies who already have that that industry or that focus area already sought out. So yeah, that's an interesting thing about this group, that all of them have already been bought out. But they're still growing. I mean, just in itself, these are brands that are still growing. It's just that they're no longer owned by the initial business owners. All right, let's talk about entrepreneurial ventures versus small businesses. So in entrepreneurship ventures, the principal objective of the owners are profitability and growth. In small businesses, as we mentioned earlier, they are independently owned and operated, and it's not dominated in its field. So some of the things that you want to look at, sometimes business owners decide, or sometimes they actually won't get to grow that small business, but in different ways. I mean, how many of you not like those mom and pop shops where you go in and they know you, they know the customer, they just they know what the customer's needs are, and so they have that. Some businesses, or small businesses, I should say, are just confident and are just okay with, all right, we're receiving profitability each month, not particularly expanding in growth, but just receiving profitability, making their customers happy, and so forth. So those are just some of the difference between entrepreneurial ventures, where there is growth and profitability, and then just small businesses, which they're just steady, profitable, and have a set required of customers. All right, so small businesses tend to be in close touch with their communities and customers. They can do a more individualized job than big firms can, thereby attracting customers on the basis of specialty products, quality, and personal services, rather solely on the basis of price, as I just mentioned earlier. So a lot of businesses, again, you think about the mom and pop shops that you love to go to, and those places that just have the things that you know that you can only get in those corners, right? All right, so small businesses are the backbone of our economy. How many of you have heard it say, having heard that saying, that they are the backbone of our economy? According to the Federal Reserve Bank, over half of America's workers own or work for a small business. Small businesses have generated over 64% of new jobs in the last 15 years. Small businesses create 2 out of every 3 jobs today. They do add greatly to the economic growth of the country. So these are a lot of things about being a small business owner, right? So it's good to just see that in our economy. Let's talk about finding your niche by identifying a needed product. So market research is this systematic gathering, recording, and analyzing of data related to the marketing of goods and services. I don't know, many of you may recall, but just a couple of years back, there wasn't such a market as a plus size market, right? There was not that many companies that were catering to that specific market. Well, once the bigger companies got hold of studying the market and realizing, wait, there is a percentage of folks that require this plus size, right? And so they started investing and studying and realizing, wait, there is potential in this market. And there has been studies have shown that there is just a steady growth in the plus size industry, right? And so it's good to always just study your market, study the product. For me, I am in a niche market. So again, my brand is a combination of soccer and fashion, right? And as I'll talk a little bit, I think on this next slide, I'll switch to it there. There is a way to look into your competitors. We'll talk about that. I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but let me go ahead and continue with this slide and I'll talk a little bit more of that. So you want to, some of the methods used to study the market, you want to estimate the size of the market. So how large is the industry? Are sales to be made to a selected age group, denomination, or region? One of the things that I love is sometimes when, I don't know if many of you have done this, but if you use the Facebook campaigns, it'll ask you, or the Instagram campaigns, or any social media campaigns, it'll ask you to select a group, a region, a denomination. And basically it does that because it wants you to be sure that you know market, and you want to make sure that you invest the right amount of money into the folks that your product is for, or that your service is for, right? So you want to make sure you estimate the size of the market. You want to estimate the competition. So similar businesses that have gone out of business or merged with others. So sometimes if you see businesses that are small businesses that are merging together, it might be a sign of weakness, right? But it also could be a sign of growth, right? Again, remember at the beginning, we talked about all those companies who started small and then they were able to merge with the bigger companies, and it was a sign of growth, right? But the thing is to estimate the competition, right? And you want to make sure that you see where you are, as I was telling you in the previous slide. So for me, my biggest competitions are the 2 bigger brands in the sports industry, which are Nike and Adidas. You have the other ones, Umbro and the other brands, but those are 2 of the biggest ones. So to me, it's just in my niche market, it was to research and to find out, which are the two um, that I'll be competing with. And it's not too much of a competition actually, because if you look at their products, they don't really do a lot of products for women in the soccer industry other than your typical uniforms. But again, that's some of my experience. And then finally, you want to estimate your share of the market. You want to arrive at a ballpark figure for your sales volume and share of the market. And you want to determine the geographic boundaries of the market area and estimate how much of your product might be purchased. So a lot of this stuff, we'll talk a little bit ahead, but a lot of this stuff is through research, right? So you'll determine a lot of your share market through some of the research that you've made, through the clients or the regions or the groups that you're planning to target. All right, so this is the brand Spanx. I just wanted to showcase Sarah Blakely because I don't know why, I love this brand. It's if you don't know about it, they do intimate apparel for women. And basically, I love her story because her story is, it's a $1.3 billion brand now. But initially, I love how she started off working, I believe in my notes I have, she was working at selling faxes machine. That's what it was. And so she was wearing like these uniforms, and then she realized, wait, it's kind of hot in Florida for me to be wearing these uniforms. So she ended up just cutting off some of her pantyhose that she had to wear under the uniform. And so that's really how the whole Spanx brand was started, right? When you read her bio, it does say that she had no knowledge of business, right? Or design of women's clothing. It was just an idea that popped into her mind. And then from there, she decided, and it was also one product. So if you think about it, it was also one product that she started off with. Right now, it's a $1.3 billion business, but because it has expanded to different products. But yeah, so it was a one product that she started, and then I put here on one of the bullet points, she took the risk. So that was one of her biggest risks, and that was actually also her breaking through moment when she reached out to Neiman Marcus, and she was able to get them to buy. If you're in the retail industry, you'll know that it's really buyers. Buyers are the ones who you get to talk to, and buyers are the ones who are going to come to your company and buy a whole chunk of your products and sell them to the wholesalers, or I'm sorry, to the bigger chains like Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, and all the bigger Macy's and just all the bigger companies. But I just wanted to showcase an example of just a small business and one product that just catapulted into a $1.3 billion business. Yeah. All right. Next, I have do your homework well. So for me, I like to say research is your friend. Like, make research your friend. Do the phone calls. Find the data. Take advantage of the latest technology, the equipment, the materials, the tools to cover that void in acceptable products available. So for me, I just got to a point where I had to restructure my business from where I started mine. I remember I did make all the phone calls. I did all the research to try to fit, because sometimes you'll notice that when you write your business plan and you start building your business, year 2 and year 3 don't look the same as year 1. But why? Because there's a lot of factors. The economy is changing, your customer is evolving, and probably that service is no longer needed, or they've just needed different changes. So you always want to make the phone calls. When I say phone calls, it's to me, it's usually the people that I want to partner with, B, people that, wait, I see that you have expertise in these. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but there's also areas where and mentors that you could tap into you got the SBDC, and then you have a lot of different areas. So you make the phone calls, find the data. For me, and finding the data is trying to find manufacturers and just the numbers that worked. Again, if you're in a niche market like I was, you have to just really look into the numbers that will tell you, like, wait, this market that you're in, it will grow, or this is the potential, this is the percentage, this is the chunk of that you'll have in terms of this market. So that way you get yourself an idea of the profits that you will be able to tap into or grasp. All right, so taking risks based on research. So use the research to find growth and scale your business, right? So once you've done your research, you can take the risks. The projections are usually built in your business plan. They are very good. They give you, usually it's 3 to 5 vision plan of what your business will look like in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th year, right? So research will get you to projections, right? And then you have the use of the technology that could help catapult your product or your service. So these are some of the things that you get to take risk on based on research. So for example, like for me, I knew I had already done my research. I had already talked to mentors. I've already done my business plan, and I knew that, okay, year 2 and year 3, I might struggle because it's still, again, a niche market. So for year 2 and year 3, I was going to have to put more input in marketing, right? Because I knew that, wait, my product in year 1 is still evolving, it's still kind of reaching out the customer, and it's still fairly new. So I knew that year 2 and year 3, I wasn't going to see as much profit, but I knew I had to increase and invest more in marketing, right? And so for me, so these sometimes projections will show you that. It will show you where you can grow, but you're just growing in different areas. And so, yeah, so you want to take a look into projections and the latest technology. All right, so what I also do say is that wisdom is to be treasured. So wisdom is the stabilizer of life. Wisdom elevates your life. Wisdom makes you the conscious creator of your life. And so what I say about this, it's always, for me, find books, find, I don't know, maybe training courses, online training programs, courses, anything that would get you understanding, anything that would get you to the next level, right? To understanding the product, to understanding your customer, and even like finding partnerships, which I'll talk a little bit further, because partnerships are very important also. You also, one of the tools that I use is score.org. So these are mentors, also that they are similar as SBDC, and so they do also retired. These are retired experienced mentors who are in every industry. And so yeah, so these are folks, these are things that you could actually use. Again, go through books, do podcasts. I love reading podcasts. If you know what your weaknesses are, if you know that you don't have a lot of, I don't know, a marketing ability or creativity, then start reading a book, right, on getting your creativity unlocked, or better leadership, right? So these are the things. So look into wisdom, because it is to be treasured. All right, so at this point, just wanted to pause really quick and just want to see if there were any questions. I do see something in the chat. Feel free to put your questions in here. Okay, so Ryan says, what was the name of that for experience? But yes, score.org. Yes. So these are folks all around. I mean, you could even find people from NASA, or like NASA folks who have already retired, and just everything. So yeah, that's exactly it. So they have the same. So we have SBDC California it's more here local, and for your region. And so with SCORE, I think it's more all around the U.S. Are there any websites that you would recommend to find resources to build your business plan? In terms of like websites, they're not really websites, but there are templates that you could use to do your business plan. If you have Word, Word does help you with the business plan, or like if you have Microsoft Word. I use a template myself, and I could also maybe put it in here when the chat ends. I'll just have to find it, but there's a template that you could put in. It has are your projections, and it tells you from week, actually it starts from week 3 to week 5 and just takes you on from there. So Rosa, I'll try to put that, I'll have to look for it, so it might take me some time. Maybe it'll be in the email that Emily will send. So yeah, so Emily is just saying, so yeah, so you could actually find the mentors through the SBDCSC.org. So she put the website there. You're welcome, Rosa. So yeah, Emily's just saying, just go to the SBDCS.org and it'll link you to the mentors as well. All right, does anyone have any other questions in there? If not, we'll proceed. Give it a few seconds there. All right, so let me just put these out and we'll just proceed. Feel free again to just add your questions in the chat box. All right, planning, organizing, and managing. All right, who out there is a good planner, organizer, and manager? Planning is the process of setting objectives and devising actions to achieve those objectives. So you want to answer questions such as, what business am I in? What finances do I need? What is my sales strategy? Where can I find the needed personnel? And how much profit can I expect? Planning is one of the most difficult activities you will do, but yet it's very essential to do it, because before taking action, you must know where you are going and how to get there. So it's also important because outsiders, you might have people who, again, will look into your planning or your business plan, and maybe investors or people who are going to provide you loans. And so planning is very important, right? Because it'll give them a view of where you're heading and what you're doing and how you will get there. And so, yeah, you'll get to get the loans and you'll get to get the investors, right? So these are some of the things that you want to look into. See, no, why my slides are getting stuck here. All right, there we go. Oh. All right, so the role of strategic planning. So strategic planning provides comprehensive long-term direction to help a business accomplish its mission. So some of the things, again, you want to ask yourself is, do I have the ability to develop a comprehensive strategic plan to take the company to the next level? So remember some of the companies that we talked about in the beginning that are just made it, that are small businesses and made it pretty big. So these were people that realized, wait, we don't have in itself right now as a small business the strategic plan to catapult our business to the next level. That was one of the things Sarah Blakely with Spanx, that was one of the decisions she made. She decided, wait, I want my business to go here, and I know I can't take it. So she sold her business, right? So those are some of the things that you want to consider. You want to also ask yourself, do I have the experience and life lessons necessary for furthering the strategic vision of the company? Do I have the leadership skills the company needs to grow? Do the investors relate to trust? And for me, to trust, do the investors relate to and trust me? So again, one of the things is, as I mentioned in the previous slide, is that you want to, even though you don't have maybe those leadership skills, read that book, find that wisdom, seek that understanding. If you get to a point where you're like, wait, I realized I could use someone who is, obviously good at social media, right? And you're not, then I'd say then get to that next point and realize these are the things that I need. This is the strategic plan that I need for my business to move on. I have here in my notes, as the businesses grows and prospers, small business owners need to seek help, whether it's finding an expert in your industry or managing in a consulting form. Another good strategic plan that I have is the SWOT analysis. So that's actually really good. So SWOT analysis stands for realizing, and this is about knowing your business, knowing the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So in the business world, you hear that a lot. You do hear the SWOT analysis, and that's so that you realize, wait, this is the areas where I'm strong. This is the areas where I will need, help, because these are the weaknesses. These are the opportunities. Maybe I could create a new product or maybe I could update my product, right? Opportunities to enter that new market. And then your threats to your business, maybe your competitors, or any inner threat within the business, right? In year 3 and year 4, as you see your projections. All right, let me move to the next slide here. All right, sorry, my slides are getting stuck there. So the financial planning can be simple or complex, but it should involve at least the following. So you want to estimate the income expenses, estimate the initial investment required, and you want to locate sources of funds. Again, there are numerous ways that you can find this on your business plan. Know that there are more helps. There's government helps. Again, the SBDC is very good with providing just help with funding, and then help you with finding those funds, especially for small business owners. There's a lot of great sources that we offer. But yeah, so one of the financial planning for your business is finding those sources of funds. Maybe it's also a lot of people have family members, right, that invest. There's this thing called crowdfunding, and just a lot of different ways. But this is the role of yourself in finding that the financial planning for your business. What we call also in the business world is the COGS, which is the cost of goods sold, right? You want to estimate the expenses, the cost of those things, the expenses to get them here, whether they're internationally or whatever, whatever product, or even the cost of those services, right? If you're offering services, what it will get you to get those going. And then also, and more important, the initial investment required for that. I love to hear stories of small businesses that started with a $5,000 investment and are now $1 million businesses, right? And it's true. It's just stewarding what you have, stewarding the amount that you've initially invested. And then, but I can assure you that a lot of those people had a financial plan, right? There was just this intentionality in creating a good financial plan. All right, let's move on. All right, so developing a marketing strategy. So what I like to say is to seek a competitive edge. You yourself are a competitive edge. You are your most creative self. And I think like what you bring, I mean, you have most passion for this product. You have a passion for this service. So you'll be very creative in how you sell it, and how you market it, and how and what your logo looks like, and what your website looks like, and in your social and digital presence, right? It'll be all your creative self. So that is a competitive edge for you. You want to also be conscious of your image, right? So people nowadays, the important thing is about stories, right? And what your company tells about that product, or that service, right? It's that image behind it. And lots of the time you have customers who are willing to come alongside of your business, just because they believe in your image. They know this is a business that is that has integrity, and that and yeah, and so you also want to find future stories and explain how your company fits. So I love when summer, there's those events that go around, like in October we have upcoming the breast cancer month, awareness month, right? And so you have all these companies who hop on those things and just create, whether it's a pink shoe or whether it's a pink shirt, right? So these are the things, right? You want to also look at the stories that are happening now, and just hop into um, those trains, and just kind of see where your company fits. You also, another important thing is add value to your customers. So you want to make sure that when you're offering a product, that people actually see, like, wait, this company is actually invested in me. Like, they actually are creating this product. They're actually providing quality, I don't know, quality shoes, quality garments, quality clothes, right? Or quality service, right? That they know, like, even, if they're going to come fix my AC, that, that the technician just has this value for their work, right? Because if they do, then they'll do a great job. And that just means that they're adding value to their customer, right? So those are some of the things that you want to look into. I have an example of, like, this is one of my favorite brands. It's a CrossFit brand. It's called Noble. And so I love this CrossFit brand because it's also like a small business. It was started in a small business, and it was created by two friends that were initially they both had worked for different brands, different smaller brands, and they came together and just decided to build this brand. But I love it because it started small. Now it's worth 500 million. They have this passion for training and no BS, right? So this is what they add. This is their added value to the customer, right? And also the importance of partnerships. So they were able to. So one of the reasons, or one of the ways that they were able to also grow, is mainly because of their partnerships, especially with the CrossFit Games. I mean, everyone knows Noble, but because of CrossFit, right? And CrossFit also just became, in the last maybe 10 15 years, it became more noticeable, right? But the brand itself, Noble, was able to grow because of them. They also, I believe it was in the last few years, they did the partnership with the PGA Tour, which again was able just to introduce them to a new level of sports. And then recently, their partnership with the NFL, which is very key. So yeah, I always say partnerships. I try to, try to see about partnerships. For me, I never thought of myself about partnerships, but it wasn't till I got to I think it was year 4 or 5, that I started seeing, wait, I need to get some partnerships. I remember I'm from Houston, Texas. I know if any of you have been there, but so we have the National Women's Soccer League, which are called the Dash. And for me, for a women's soccer brand, I just realized, wait, there is something about partnering with them. So I was able to partner with them. Long story short, I was able to do a fashion show. I invited the key players to come and model my products. And that was actually, it ended up being a good thing. It ended up being a way to promote my business, but also work with the community, right? Because we were able to give back to the community. And we were from that from that partnership, that just became a friendship, where we were able to do soccer clinics for the community. And so it just ended up being really nice. But again, it wasn't something that I was thinking in year one. It wasn't until year 4 or 5 that I was like, wait, this is good. The key partnerships are key in catapulting your business. All right, so developing a marketing strategy. As small business owner, you should be able to develop a marketing strategy in your business operations. So you want to make sure that you're setting objectives. Your marketing objectives should be tied in with your competitive edge and flow from your mission statement. You also want to choose your target market, right? So realizing, wait, who is my customer? Who am I aiming for? And then finally, developing an effective marketing mix. So you really just are able to develop a marketing mix once you know who your target market is, right? So your marketing mix consists of your product, your price, your place, and your promotion. Those are the 4 P's of the marketing mix. All right, the key to sales and promotion. I love this. I love this. So there's that time of year, right, which is important for sales and promotions. I love this because how many of you don't love the holiday season, right? I love the holiday season, but I bet you more that Walmart, that Target, and all those bigger stores, Amazon, they love the holiday season way more than you and me. Why? Because there's actually big money to be made, right? So time of year is important. It's key in your promotion, right? I have here some statistics. In 2022, just last year, the holiday retail sales in the United States were forecasted to about $942 billion, just to give you an idea. That was actually a conservative estimate. The real projected amount was between 942 to 960 billion. So again, the time of year is key. For me, again, when it's holiday season, and a lot of products and companies do this, they prepare for those times because they know that they want to promote their brand, promote their business in the time of year where people are keen. They're just keen to buying, and they want to buy something unique, right? They want to buy something that is offered just that time of year, right? So you want to just again, when you're thinking of your product, or thinking like, wait, what are ways that we could increase profitability? All right, think of the time of year. Think of where we are. If it's summer, then try to see if your product or service is relates to that time of year, that season, right? So yeah, so it is very important. Let me proceed. All right, so intermediaries are those units or institutions in the channels of distribution that either take title to or negotiate the sale of the product. The usual intermediaries are brokers, agents, wholesalers, and retailers. As we know, one of the major ones that we're most of us are familiar with is Amazon, right? So a lot of small companies will do that. They will put their products in Amazon to sell. You have a lot of brick and mortars that I know of that usually do this. They have their products in store, but then they also sell through intermediaries, right? So you want to look into that to see if maybe your service or your product or whatever business you're in is able to sell through intermediaries, right? Because these are good channels of distributions to think of for growth. All right, selling with your own sales force. So this is also very key. I love that because oftentimes you have the product, you have the business, you've already established the business, you already realize, all right, this is where I registered the business, this is where I want to be, but you don't really think about your employees, or you don't really think about those people who will help just sell your product and your service. So selling expertise is needed in all business activities. While advertising may entice customers to desire a product, it alone is not usually sufficient to complete a sale. Customers appreciate good selling and dislike poor service, right? A lot of us will most likely go to if there's two companies or two similar businesses that are selling the same merchandise, but one of them has better customer service, I can assure you that a lot of the time you and I will go to the that company or that business that has better customer service. Customers believe that salespeople should show an interest in them and assist them in their buying. So it does make a difference. It does make a difference. Your sales force. I think this is one of the strategic thoughts that not many businesses consider, right? When it is in talking about your own employees and your own business. So that takes me to my next slide, selecting your tribe. So you want to make sure that that you choose your best tribe. Your employees are your biggest cheerleaders, right? Many companies select their product, as I said, to register the business, select the marketing strategy, but not many much put emphasis on selecting key people who are on the front end and who are going to represent their business, right? So choosing your tribe, choosing the people that are similar to your passion for that industry, that business, that product, and so forth. And what I say too is develop great leaders. So you want to look into investing in your employees. That leads to a strategic growth, and you want to make sure that you want to know that they will lead customers to making a purchase. One of the things that I love, so I'm part of the group here in town in Reading. I'm on the leadership with Ahab Al-Hindi. He's the owner of the Chick-fil-A here in town. And so one of the things that I love about him is that he loves to invest in his employees. He loves to give them opportunities for growth, and in return they sell more chicken, right? So that's what they do. But I love that his heart is to develop great leaders, and so you have to think about your employees as leaders, as people who are going to take your product and sell more of it, or your service and sell more of it, right? But you got to invest in them so that they could lead and grow your business. So again, a lot of employees, a lot of businesses don't think about it. They just think about, okay, it's just an employee. But if you show, statistics have also shown that in the changing times, if you invest in your employees, they're most likely to stay. They won't leave, but because they see that, wait, I am being invested on, they do believe in me, and so forth. So again, just thoughts and just things to think about when thinking about your employees. So I included that your tribe leads you. So the best thing an employer can have is an employee who is passionate about their job and thus bringing ideas for the business. They are your eyes and your ears. So that's something to also just think about. Those are the people that are on the front end, and these are the people who, you know, have just straight up connection with your customer, and they're the ones who are going to lead you, and they're going to lead your business. Believe it or not, they're the ones who are probably going to open up new avenues for your business. I just think it's it's a good strategy to think about investing in those, either whether it's a partner or your employees if you're a small business. So those are your thoughts. So I am going to wrap up. Does anyone have any questions at the moment? I'll just open that up. Okay, so just before I proceeded with the second part, Emily just wrote that there are, if you want to look at plans like you were asking for, let's see. Yeah, so Rosa, so she was saying that there's bpplans.com, which is an option for you to look into for sample plans. And so, yeah, so that's really good information. Thank you, Emily. So yeah, feel free to use that. And I think she also mentioned there's an that if you're outside of our area, you can also, she put in another link there, which is the America SBDC. Thank you so much, Emily. Yeah. So is there any other questions? Let me, if not, well, I'll go ahead and wrap up and just get to, feel free to put it in there. Let me go ahead and do a summary of what we covered. So today we talked about entrepreneur ventures versus small businesses. Remember, entrepreneur ventures are usually those who are seek growth and profitability, while small businesses do seek profitability, but sometimes are just more desire to stay at more still space. You want to find, then we talked about finding your niche by identifying your product, doing your homework well. We talked about the importance of planning, organizing, and managing your finances and your marketing, right? We talked about the importance of developing a marketing strategy, the time of year with your sales promotion, and selecting your tribe, which is your human resources part. All right. So if you do need some continued or some more sales, some more business advice, I'm taking new clients. So feel free to speak to Emily. If you're not currently a member, you could just speak with her and just do like a quick 3-minute questionnaire. We also have, so what some of the areas that are my expertise are administration, marketing, creative strategy, branding, startup, sales growth, and fashion and retail. But we also have other advisors who are able to help you with these products. So feel free to reach out to Emily. All advising is free through the SBDC, so there's something that you have to pay. This is her information. So this is Shasta-Cascade SBDC. You can find her email there, emily@norcalsbdc.org. And these are just some helpful links for you. And then I'll turn it back to Emily. Emily, are you there?
Hi, thank you, Laura. I just put in the chat a link to our survey. So that's really helpful. If you can let us know how we did today, or if there are any other topics that you would like us to teach, that's always helpful to know. You can go ahead and click on it now and then actually fill it out after we finish the webinar. Yeah, like Laura said, you can reach me, Emily at norcalsbdc.org if you have any questions, even if you're outside of our area and just curious how to reach your local center, you can reach out to me. And then we have a lot of our trainings that we post on our YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out as well.
Yes. All right. So if no one has any more questions, I guess we'll conclude this presentation.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you, Laura, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.